something I think everyone in medicine deals with on a regular basis. And basically one of these encounters just filters into how I perceive the entire rest of the shift. And it is remarkable how negative the influence of one of these encounters could be. Day ruiner.
I think it absolutely is. It's a fascinating topic because it requires both somebody to deliver something that's rude and somebody to assume that what they've heard or to conceive of what is rude. So there's two parts to this. There's both the deliverer and the receiver, but it's incredible what an effect it can have. Some of the publications on it use the word iatrogenesis, in other words, rudeness being something that causes patient harm. And it's a powerful term, and I think it's correct.
A day in New York City and have numerous rude encounters, and it doesn't even faze us. Why is it so much worse in the clinical venue?
Well, that's a fascinating question. I may not have the answer. I would posit, though, that it's because we are experiencing life, but in a very distilled version in the emergency room or the ICU. In other words, just as you say, we experience all the same interactions, all the same crises, but they're just that much more amped up when you have a very sick patient. And so everything is magnified. But I think in addition to that, our Janus head, both our strength and our weakness as EM and ICU practitioners is that we are very engaged, that we do take this personally, which is why we do what we do. And therefore, when somebody attacks, whether it's our abilities, whether it's our sense of right and wrong, whether it's our sense of decency, our professionalism, these are very, or conceived to be very personal attacks.
Almost expect, like, in the foxhole of the clinical interactions for at least to be able to rely on your fellow physicians and nurses and other allied health professionals as being, that there will be some esprit de corps. And so it's doubly disappointing when those people you were expected to be your comrades and folks you can rely on for support turn around and just smack you in the face, either figuratively or literally. What makes it particularly irksome is we are, in some ways, in medicine, a very elite group of people from an intellectual perspective. You don't get to be a doctor, even the worst doctor, without some very difficult achievements. And you'd think these people would have used or have the same attributes of politeness to go along with that intelligence. It's almost worse to be exposed to people that are so obviously intelligent and yet have not learned the skills they should have learned in nursery school. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's wonderfully put. We also portray ourselves as being somehow rock hard and armored when we go to work. And actually, one of the things I've increasingly learned about doctors and nurses, we have lots of wonderful traits, but along with that sort of sense of taking things personally, the myth of the imposter is very, very real in our profession. And so when somebody does attack us, one of the reasons we let them in is because there are chinks in our armor. So yes, I think you're absolutely right that it seems like awful behavior, especially when we're all trying to do our best. I think, though, both the awful behavior and the fact that we are sensitive is why this is such as I say, an iatrogenic issue, rudeness. But actually, it could be argued that there's a pervasive rudeness throughout our system, that bullying, if bullying's not too top shelf of a word to use, may occur from nurses to junior trainees, it may occur between nurses, there seems to be rudeness going in all directions, or if not rudeness, a lack of courtesy or a lack of civility. It's just developing a society with courtesy and civility and actually seeing that as a key medical attribute that we should look for with people that come in, but more importantly than looking for it with people that come in, we should foster it throughout, because as you say, a lot of very, very decent, well-meaning people come into medicine and they pick up all of the medical knowledge and they kick out much of their humanity, and it's not what our patients deserve, what we want, what our family members want when we come home late at night, and it's a real loss if you lose your soul at the same time that you become the greatest technical doctor in your institution. When we look at communication, there's communication that finally we're starting to put some effort into, but we're really only scratching the surface when we realize there's also paraverbal communication, in other words, the way you say it, so the volume, the emphasis. Then there's non-verbal, what we don't say but our hand gestures or our facial expressions, and then there's other stuff, such as the authority gradient or the way we might have acted in the past. And my understanding is that when there isn't correlation between the two, in other words, if you say, what the hell's going on? And you believe you said, what the hell's going on? In a far less accusatory manner, then in fact your actual words will be de-emphasized, and the emotion, the paraverbal, the non-verbal, or the past history will actually be thought of as far more important by the listener. So we have to be very careful about what we say, but we also have to be extremely careful about how we say it. And the medium becomes the message, to quote a Canadian philosopher, Marshall McLuhan.